Imagine waking up and hearing that your family is about to get $10,000. No taxes on your tips, no taxes on your overtime hours, and bigger credits just for having kids. It almost sounds too good to be true. And maybe that's the point. This new plan, what some are calling Trump's big beautiful bill, promises big things, especially for everyday families. But as we start looking closer, the story begins to shift. Because this bill doesn't just hand out relief, It also takes a lot away. While some people get more money in their pockets, others are bracing for deep cuts to health care, to food assistance, to basic support systems that millions rely on. And it's not just a small tweak. It could shape the future of jobs, taxes, and even who gets to stay afloat, and who DOESN, single quotes T. So, is this bill really a win for working Americans? Or is it designed to help those already sitting at the top? Today, we'll break it all down. What's being promised, what's actually possible, and who's footing the bill in the end? Because that's $10,000. Someone's paying for it. The question is it you? So let's talk about this bill that everyone's been buzzing about, the one that says the average American household could end up with $10,000 more in their pocket. It's officially called the One Big Beautiful Bill, and it's part of President Trump's latest tax plan. On the surface, it sounds like a win. No taxes on your overtime, no taxes on tips, permanent tax breaks, and even bigger credits for families with kids. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, this could feel like the kind of help people have been waiting for. But here's where it gets complicated. This isn't just about giving people more money. There are trade-offs, big ones. Some experts say if this bill doesn't pass, the country could see a 4% drop in GDP, which might trigger a serious recession. Others argue the opposite, that this bill will blow a $3 trillion hole in the national debt, and that money has to come from somewhere. According to critics, the help being promised to working families might come at the cost of cuts to Medicaid, food programs like SNAP, and other support systems that millions rely on. Meanwhile, the wealthiest Americans and large corporations seem to be walking away with the biggest tax benefits. Even billionaire Elon Musk is calling out lawmakers, warning that those who vote for this bill after campaigning on spending cuts are betraying their voters, and he's promised to back challengers against them. So who actually benefits from this bill? And who ends up paying for it? In this video, we're going to walk you through exactly what the $10,000 promise really means, who stands to gain the most, who gets left behind, and what this bill could mean for your paycheck, your health care, and your kids' future. Let's break it down, clearly, simply, and without the spin, so you can make up your own mind. The $10,000 breakdown. So, where exactly is this $10,000 coming from? That number sounds huge, especially when you're thinking about rent, groceries, gas, and how tight every dollar feels these days. But this isn't a check showing up in your mailbox. It's not a direct deposit. It's a mix of tax breaks, credits, and policy extensions. And how much you actually feel depends a lot on how you live and work. Let's start with what's included. First, there's no tax on tips. So if you're in the service industry, maybe a bartender, server, or delivery driver, you won't have to pay federal taxes on the tips you earn. But unless your tips are adding up to big numbers each week, this alone probably won't add up to thousands. Then there's no tax on overtime pay. This could really help hourly workers who pick up extra shifts. The more overtime you work, the more of it you keep. It's estimated that around 90 million Americans could benefit from this part alone. Next is the expanded child tax credit. If you have 2 kids, you could see an extra $5,000 in credits. That's already half of the $10,000 total being talked about. But here's the twist. None of these are brand new ideas. Most of this comes from tax breaks introduced in Trump's 2017 tax law. What this bill does is extend them, and if it doesn't pass, those benefits could expire, meaning your taxes go up instead of staying the same. So, is everyone really getting $10,000? Not exactly. That number is more of a general average. If you don't work hourly, don't get tips or overtime, or don't have kids, your share could be way lower. Some low-income families may even lose out overall, especially if other support programs are cut in the process. Now, if this bill fails, experts at the Council of Economic Advisors warn of a possible 4% drop in GDP, which they say could trigger one of the worst recessions in recent memory. So that $10,000? It's not free money. It's a mix of avoided tax hikes, continued benefits, and a few new boosts, depending on where you land. Winners versus losers breakdown now. Let's get to the part that really matters. Who actually wins from this bill, and who's left picking up the pieces? Let's start with those who come out ahead. If you're part of the top 20% income bracket, you're likely smiling. On average, this group could see about $6,000 a year in tax savings. That comes from lower income taxes, a bigger deduction on state and local taxes, and more room to invest through corporate channels. Big companies, especially those with strong profits, stand to gain even more. The bill cuts the corporate tax rate down from 35% to 21% for good. The idea behind this move is simple. If businesses keep more of their earnings, they'll hire more people, raise wages, and pump more money back into the economy. At least, that's the hope. Then there are workers earning money from tips and overtime. If you're in that group, the bill could help you directly. With those earnings now tax-free, you get to keep more of what you work for, without Uncle Sam taking a cut. Homeowners and real estate investors also get a boost, thanks to deductions tied to mortgage interest and investment property. And let's not forget the fossil fuel industry. This bill gives oil and gas companies more space to operate without the strict environmental rules that slowed them down in recent years. But while some are gaining, others are getting left behind. And it's not a small number. Lower-income households could lose around $560 a year on average. Why? Because this bill cuts into Medicaid, SNAP, and other support systems. Over the next decade, about 12 million people could lose health coverage as a result. Healthcare workers are also at risk. With fewer insured patients, doctors' offices could see less traffic, meaning fewer appointments, fewer procedures, and less income across the board. Clean energy companies are taking a hit too. The bill shifts favor toward traditional energy, putting solar and electric at a disadvantage. One reason why Elon Musk is furious, calling out lawmakers by name. And then there's the younger generation. With the national debt expected to rise by $3 trillion, they'll be stuck with the long-term cost. Interest alone could reach $700 billion a year, money that could have gone to schools, healthcare, or infrastructure. So yes, some people will see more money in their pockets, but others may end up paying the price for years to come. Political fallout and reactions. This bill isn't just causing a stir in the public. It's also creating serious tension inside the Republican Party itself. While President Trump and his closest allies are fully behind it, not everyone wearing a red tie is cheering. Some Republican senators are quietly pushing back, saying the bill goes against everything the party has promised, especially when it comes to spending and the national debt. For years, they've campaigned on cutting down the size of government. But now, this bill is set to add $3 trillion in new debt, and that has some lawmakers calling it a broken promise. Still, despite the internal disagreements, people close to the process say the bill will pass the Senate by midnight and likely clear the House without much resistance. But it's not just politicians weighing in. Elon Musk made headlines when he went straight after lawmakers who support the bill. In a bold public statement, he said, "Every member of Congress who campaigned on reducing government spending and then voted for the biggest debt increase in history should hang their head in shame, and they will lose their primary next year. If it's the last thing I do," he's not just talking. Musk said he'll put his own money behind anyone who runs against these lawmakers in future elections. Why? Because under this bill, clean energy companies like Tesla take a hit, while fossil fuel giants get more support. Economists have their own concerns. According to Yale University's Budget Lab, the poorest families are hit the hardest, while the richest gain the most. And the Center for a Responsible Federal Budget says just paying the interest on a new debt could cost the country up to $700 billion a year, not to critics. It looks like a reverse Robin Hood situation, cutting from the bottom to give more to the top. Whether that's a fair take or not, one thing is clear. This bill is shaking things up, not just in the economy, but in politics too. Conclusion: President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill is being sold as a lifeline for working families, a way to put more money back into American households. And for some, it really might do that. If you're a middle-class parent with 2 kids, working long shifts and earning tips, this bill could feel like a much-needed break. More money in your paycheck, fewer taxes to worry about, and a little more room to breathe each month. But that's only one side of the story. For lower-income families, the situation is more complicated. Sure, they may see some tax relief, but those gains could be wiped out by cuts to Medicaid and food assistance. And for many, especially those already struggling, losing that support hurts more than any tax cut can help. Corporations and fossil fuel companies walk away with big wins. Tax breaks, fewer restrictions, and expanded incentives. But that leaves clean energy, healthcare providers, and even the next generation shouldering more debt and fewer resources down the line. Even Elon Musk has spoken out, and when one of the richest people in the country says the bill favors the wrong players, it's hard not to pay attention. In the end, this bill forces a bigger question. Should the government give more help to those at the top, hoping it trickles down? Or protect those at the bottom, making sure no one falls through the cracks? How we answer that, as voters, taxpayers, and citizens, is going to define more than just this bill. It might shape the next decade of American life. Thanks for sticking with us through this breakdown of Trump's big, beautiful bill. Now that you've seen the numbers, the impacts, and the real-life consequences, ask yourself, is this bill really helping you? Or is someone else walking away with your share? We want to hear what you think. Drop a comment below. Are you for the bill? Against it? And why? If you found this video helpful, hit that like button. It helps more people find real, fact-based content without the spin. And don't forget to subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this, where we keep it clear, honest, and easy to follow. Tap the bell so you don't miss our next upload. How this bill could spark the next recession or save the U.S. economy. This is Spark Insights, and we'll catch you in the next one. Until then, stay sharp, stay informed, and stay in control of your money.